Hello everyone, get ready with me while I tell you the time. I literally thought I was gonna get kidnapped. It's so scary out in this world being a freaking girl. Like, I literally thought that this day, that was it. If you guys are not aware, I am currently 23, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe this incident took place when I was maybe like 16, 17, or 18. It was somewhere around that. I just know that I was like really young. Okay, I know I'm still young, but younger than I am now. During this time, my dad was actually working graveyard, if I'm not mistaken, and this was also the time where we only had one car, so I would literally be the person to take everybody to work, and I would pick up everybody from work. I also feel like that's why I'm so independent and I don't rely on anybody, because I feel like I was always that person where like my parents just trusted and they just knew that I would just be there and do everything for them without, them questioning or asking anything. I had to pick up my dad at, it was like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I was on my way to go pick him up, and he worked maybe like 20-25 minutes from where we lived. And in order for me to get to his work, I would always pass by this like one street. I feel like I would always take the same route because that's obviously like the streets that I was aware of and I knew that were safe, or so I thought. I also would sometimes take the freeway to go pick him up, but I just remember this specific day I just wanted to take the street, so it would definitely kind of go back and forth between either taking the street or taking the highway. I left my house, and like I said, I ended up taking the street, and I ended up taking this specific route. And this specific route, I have to pass by like an adult store, if that makes sense. And this adult store is basically like, how do I say it, like vending, like it's like PORN basically, like they sell like sex toys and all of that type of stuff. If you live in my city, you know exactly what I'm talking about and which store I am talking about. But I'm not gonna say, just for private reasons. I mean, I technically don't even like live there anymore, but still, if you know, you know. So I'm on my way to pick him up. I pass this street, and then the next light over, I end up getting a red light. So obviously I end up stopping, and it honestly caught me off guard, the fact that there was that many cars at this specific stop sign. And it was literally like the stop sign and then the adult store was like right here, and I ended up being like kind of like right here in like the line of cars ready, for the green light to go. I also want to touch base on, and I feel like this is one of the most important parts, is I did not have tint in that car. Okay, the point of the last clip was the fact that the car had no tint. I was literally driving a fishbowl. As I'm waiting for the light to turn green, I end up seeing a guy at like the adult store in the corner, and he was just like standing there looking at all the cars. And this guy, he literally has some sort of like bat or stick. Basically, he has some sort of tool that I knew if this man were to try to approach me, that he would easily break into my car, break the windows. It was just one of those situations. There are moments where I do get very paranoid, and this was one of the situations where my anxiety was over the roof. As I was waiting at the stoplight, I just felt someone staring. I don't know, I just get this like instinct all the time where I just feel like I know when somebody is staring at me. I remember when I felt someone staring, I just had my hand on the wheel and I kind of like did like a side eye, and I looked at this guy and I just knew that he was staring at me. I just had a feeling, and this is when like my anxiety, like, dude, ya se pasó. I just knew that this guy knew that I was alone and he was just gonna do something. I just had that gut feeling, and one thing about my gut feelings is they've never been wrong. I was lying. This guy, I just have a feeling the reason he started to approach me was because he knew that I was alone. You guys, I literally put on my hoodie to make it look or make it seem like I was a guy, but no, I just feel like this guy, this crazy guy who was probably on drugs, like caught on that I was a girl and I was the only one in the car. This man starts to approach my car, but he's not just like casually approaching my car. He has that stick or the bat, whatever he has in his hand, that tool that I mentioned to you guys earlier, and he's like running to my car. He's like fast walking, and he kind of starts to jog to my car, and I swear to you, I got in like panic mode. I did not know what to do, and the first thing that literally came to mind, you guys, the only thing that came to mind I'm laughing because I can't believe I did this. I literally got out of the line that I was in. There was a good like 5 or 6 cars in front of me. I went around all of the cars. I took the lane where cars go this way and I'm going this way. And I literally waited at the stop sign. I made sure no cars were coming, and I literally like passed the light. You guys. The little girl who is already paranoid enough knows that a guy is chasing her, that I might just get killed and he might just smash my freaking window. Like, that was the only thing that came to mind to do. So I literally took the light, and I swear to you, on the way to my dad's work, I was shaking. Like, I did not know how to process what just happened. I was a little girl. I did not know what to do. So that was literally the only thing on my mind. And I just remember the first thing I did was call my dad, and I was like, Papi, and he was like, are you okay? I feel like he just kind of like heard it in my voice how scared I was, and he was like, Ash, like, are you okay? And keep in mind, I'm daddy's little girl. Like, I'm his only daughter, so my dad is super protective over me. And I remember when I told him what happened, he was like, okay, he was like, it's not good what you did. He was like, you like broke the rules, but I'm just glad that you're okay and that you're safe. I just hope there wasn't a cop behind me, because I was so scared. I was like, dude, I can literally get a ticket. He was like, well, he's like, take a deep breath, Mija, drink some water if you have any. He was like, if a cop does end up stopping by and he was there, he's like, all you're gonna do is explain the story in hopes that he, you know, understands. And he ended up catching the guy. And I was like, okay. So my dad was basically calming me down. And then once I got to my dad's job, he basically was like, let me drive. He was like, you can tell that you're like shaken up a little bit. He was like, I'm glad you're okay. Like, he was definitely like keeping me, you know, like sane. He was definitely like comforting me, just saying all the right things I needed to say. I love my dad, you guys. I love him. So I'm glad that like I was the one picking him up, and like he just knew what to say and he was awake. I obviously, it sucks the situation that happened, but I'm just glad that if there was someone that was there for me, like it was my dad.
The time I got into a fight at Taco Bell. So I got my first job. I worked the drive-thru at Taco Bell. This was probably the worst job to work at. All customers are rude. So it started as a normal day at work. I took this man order and gave him his food, and that was that. No longer than 10 minutes later, one of my co-workers telling me to go. But I went to the front counter anyways. As soon as I seen him, man, I recognized that was the same man who was at the drive-thru. So I'm like, how can I help you? He started yelling and asking me, are you dumb? Are you dumb? I started laughing because I was thinking it was a joke. I was like, nah, I'm not dumb. He was like, I ordered 12 tacos with no lettuce and you gave me 12 tacos with lettuce. So I apologized and offered to reorder. But the man threw the bag at my face. Bruh, guess what I did next? Stay tuned for part 2. Part 2 on how I got into a fight at Taco Bell. So after the man threw the bag in my face, I snapped and forgot I was at work. I grabbed the bag and threw it back at the man. My manager pulled me back and told me to go to the break room. As I'm walking back, the man started cursing my manager out. I was thinking, like, this man really upset about some lettuce? So I went to the back to calm down. Long story short, the man left and I went back to work the drive-thru. So as soon as my shift was over, I went outside and guess who's waiting for me? Yep, the man. He was standing outside and he said, remember me? And pushed me. I calmly put my backpack down and knocked this dude out. I hit this man so hard he fell on the ground. I then went to help him up and said to him, you must really hate lettuce, huh?